Hello. Today we would like to talk about C-level plus arrays. We have two more sessions going on for C-level plus level 1. The last two chapters will be on array and the vector. Now it is chapter 11 and 12. Both are actually array. Array is actually the homogeneous data type of the same type of the data. Vector is dynamic array. So basically both are arrays. And we will talk about different kind of array in chapter 12 and 11. Today we will be focused on chapter 11 on the arrays. And then that will be fixed size array. And then chapter 12 is vector. Vector is flexible size array. Okay. But fixed size array, there are still several different flavors of the array. So first, we would like to talk about one-dimensional array. We will talk about declaration of the one-dimensional array, passing array as a function element, constant, and then structure of the object type of array, enum for the indexing, and two-dimensional array. These are different topics for array, and then multi-dimensional array. And then we'll talk about the array class as well. Okay, so a lot of topic to cover today. And first, we still need to emphasize one more time that array is a structured data type. Okay, but in C-level plus, actually, there are several types of the array we need to talk about. So now let's look at different type of the array. So first type of the array is, let me change the font. First type of array is a C-style array. So C-style array, you do integer A3 equals 1, 2, 3. So this C-style array is array of the continuous data. Okay, let me actually make it wider. This we call it C-style array. So C-style array basically is an array of continuous edges. And this A actually is the starting edges of the A0. And this array, actually, we don't have it is not a reference type. So there is no A the length. There's no A the size, because it's only a memory of continuous edges. That's called C-style array. Okay, let's look at the code. So let's actually go to the Visual Studio Code. So let's actually bring a Visual Studio Code. First one, we would like to create something called array s.cpp, okay? So this one, we are going to talk about different type of the C-level plus arrays. Okay, so first type, let's declare something called integer A3 equals 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this one, we call it a C-style array, and there is no length. So usually we would do define, okay, A length 3, and then you put this constant A length over there. And then right here, you do for integer I equals 0, I less than A length, I increase. Okay, so this one actually will print out AI equals the AI's value going through the traversal of the array, and you run it, you will get the result. So what we know from here is actually this A is an array, and then you actually A itself is holding the starting address of your A0, and then you actually continue to look into the data on the array. So this is a C-type style array, we know about it. And then the size is fixed, and you cannot make it longer or shorter, okay? And this is a continuous address. Okay, so this one, first one is a C-style array. And then you can have dynamic array. Dynamic array is you actually can do this. You can do dynamic array. You can have an integer, okay, body of uh, b, okay, equal to new integer 3. Okay, this one you use the memory to allocate the 3 element for it, and then the pointer will be returned to B variable. So B is a pointer to the 3 element array, and this one actually is allocated in the heap, or sometimes we call it dynamic memory array. So at the end, you need to do this. You need to clean it because you allocate the memory in the heap. This one is actually in the global area. That's actually different location. So this one at the end, you need to delete array from the pointer B. Okay, so this one, if you don't do that, you may have memory loss. Okay, so this one is something you need to do. So this is dynamic array, and then you do this, you do for integer I equals to I less than 3, I increase. So this one, it is from the dynamic memory, so you still don't know how long the array will be. So you still need to remember the length of the array, okay? Let's copy this one over. Okay, let's type to enter out. So this data, one thing is that it's actually allocated from the heap memory. So they are uninitialized. They are uninitialized. You actually need to clean them before you use it. So basically, it will be containing garbage if you get started like that. Okay, so then you need to do p. Let's put it in the middle. Okay, let's put it in the folder then. We clean it and then we clean it. Okay. So each individual data from dynamic memory is not cleared. It's not like a Java language, you automatically will clean it to the 0. So this dynamic memory, when you get started, you do have to clean it. Okay, that's one thing. Second, there's no size operator. So you want to calculate the size of A, you have to do integer A size equals size of A divided by size of integer. Okay. This one, you have a B pointer. Let's do the same thing for B. Okay, right here, as you can see, size of B2 is wrong. So basically, this size of function using this way is actually wrong. It doesn't predict the data that you want to have. Okay, so this one actually doesn't work for dynamic memory. So you still need to pass you need to keep your A length. Okay, let's actually define one more variable. That's a disadvantage of the C style array. You have to remember how long it is. The size of work, if you are using the continuous edges in the static area, it doesn't work if your memory is from heap memory. That won't work. The size of function doesn't work. Okay, anyway, that doesn't work. So that's what we actually know so far for this C style array. Okay, let's go up to here. So that's the first thing we discussed. There are two types of C style array. One is using the uh, array declaration to create a dynamic, a static array, putting into the global area. The other one is using new to create an array that put in the dynamic heap area. Okay, it's the same as a memory allocate function in C language, but here it's using new. Okay, it's using new. Anyway, that actually does not that actually doesn't work in the length. You need to keep the length for both type to be safe. Okay, otherwise you will need to use a size of function, but size of function doesn't work all the time. Let's actually try another one. Let's actually try. Here we use std, so let's try another one. Let's do integer. Okay, b size 2. Let's use std size of b. Let's actually copy this. Because this one is not using size of. Here, std size, you don't have the data. So right here, we use the, you need to use the array class. Otherwise, you don't have std size function. Let's see. This one does not work because you cannot pass the integer pointer to there. It must be a constant array type. So this one using the size of function doesn't work as well. So it doesn't work. Okay. Let's actually try another one. This one, B doesn't work. But if we put into A, So using the STD, the size in A. So static one, it actually is a fixed state location. You use as size function or size of function work, but if you using for the dynamic memory, it doesn't work. That's what we want to demonstrate. Okay, so A standard size that actually okay, both work. Okay. Let me actually cut this one, put it under here. Okay. Okay, so I think we had quite enough things to talk about the two different type of the array for one-dimensional array in the so-called C style array. Okay, later we'll talk about C double plus class type array. Okay, let's wait. So that's actually the first thing we covered. Okay, then you have different type. We talked about it before. So array have a component index and type. Okay, this is, I think everyone know it, so we will skip it. Associate memory using the content addressable memory. Okay, this is another story. We can use a hash table to achieve it. That's actually not related to here. And you may also have sparse metric. Okay, this one uh, different way to implement metric array. Okay, so this part, let's continue. So array, you actually have the index and you have base address. So your base address is stored in the array variable, and then you actually can address the continuous memory. That's the C double plus style. Okay, this part I think is okay so far. Similar to Java. Okay, so we don't, so you can pass it as an argument. So when you pass as an argument, array are always passed by reference. Okay, so pass by reference means that if you modify the content for the array, the original array will also be changed. Okay, it's passed the address into the function, so it's always passed by the reference. Let's actually try to look at it. Here, okay, so let's actually check this pass by reference feature. So let's call this function, this program as pass. Okay, that's using the same array. Now we want to have a function. So here let's actually have a function that actually is called increase. So we pass integer x3. Okay. This one is actually, let's see. Okay, it's okay. Let's pass the length to it. So we can print an array of different sizes. Okay. Okay, so this function just pass the A into the increase function and you increase every element in the X array. So if it's passed by reference, then every element in the A array will be increased. Before and after, that should be different. So let's see. So originally it's 1, 2, 3, now increased to 2, 3, 4. So this one is what we say it actually is always passed by reference. Passed by reference means that when you have a function called increase, you pass the A reference, this is actually X, 3 elements. So your A originally had here, you pass to X, then X was sharing the variable with A, okay? And then you increase the X by 1, so 1 become 2, 2 becomes 3, 3 become 4. And then outside you print the A one more time, it will also be changed. This is called call by reference. So that's the key idea of your Chicago plus array, okay? Okay, this part I think is okay. And if you don't want them to be changed, you can use a constant array, so you don't allow it to be changed, okay? You don't want it to be modified. You can use a constant. So input is constant variable, never be modified. Okay, if you do D. So these are using this different variable, you can choose to be input variable, in out variable. Okay, the B, C are both in out variable. And then this one is constant, no change available. Okay. Okay, memory allocation for the array is actually using the base address that's stored in your variable. And then is continuous address. Okay, this one I think is okay. Okay, constant type is final, no change. Okay, that actually is fine. using array as a occurrence counter, I think this one okay. We will bypass it. This is a histogram or counter. This one I think we won't repeat it. Okay, it's okay. Let's pass it. Next one, enum variable as index. Now we want to talk about enum. So enum is creating the data type. So you can do enum department and then some variable, and this actually work like integer. Okay, work like integer. Okay, let's actually do this. So enum is actually creating an integer type, special integer type. Or you can call it as an iterator type. Okay, that's actually create enum, enumerable. Okay, so here let's call it week days. Let's use all capital. Okay. Okay, when you finish a class definition or type definition, you use a semicolon. Okay, that is good. Now let's do for us. This one you want to use this one is actually which is actually a department. So it need to be a weekday. W equals Sunday. W less than equal to Saturday. W increase. Okay. Here you can using namespace std. Hmm? Okay, the increment need to be written in this way. So you print now 6. Let's do a experiment. So here, if we don't do it like this one, let's change it to 100. What will happen? Let's see. People keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going to 100 and stop. It doesn't roll back. It is printing the number. So the number keep iterating, keep increasing, but actually it doesn't show you the real data type. So usually that's another way you go through the iteration. So here you need to be careful. It's a spatial integer type, but actually sometimes it actually need to take care of the increment function and also the boundary function, boundary values. There's two things you need to take care of. Other than that, usually it's used for the indexing for for the data type you want to have. Okay, so this one is enum available as index. So you can do sales amount, woman, or whatever. So you can do money of the Monday, Tuesday, whatever. Okay, that actually is using the using the enum as the index. It's kind of a little bit like a hash table, but it's actually array type hash table. Okay. You can also use the A to G. Okay, something like that. Now this one is a parallel array. Parallel array means two array of the same size. Okay, ID and hourly wage. Okay, so this one usually happen in the histogram or in the frequency design. Okay, this one parallel array, we don't demonstrate, okay, because I think we have that in Java language, so we don't demonstrate. Next one, we'll talk about two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array in C++ is different from the so-called C language, the Java language, because Java language two-dimensional array is array of arrays. So you actually, let's assume you have the n33, right? Java array actually is a pointer to three separate one-dimensional array. That's the concept for Java array. But in C++, it doesn't work that way. It actually gives you a continuous address. So your M still be the location of the M00. That will be your starting address. That's your M address. And after that, you kind of write down using the row 0, row 1, row 2 format to go through every element. Okay, let's try this one out. Okay, let's assume that we do have an array M 3, 3, okay? And let's define it as two-dimensional array. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. So that's we do have this one, and let's have the integer main function. Okay, so this one that's actually define n, and then define n. Okay, so here let's change it to n and n. Okay. So m and then is the dimension of the m array. Okay, and you do return here. Let's print out every element in the array. So that's been for integer I equals 0, I less than n, I increased. Here C out. End of. Right here you need to use namespace tt. Okay, so basically you print the data and then you change the line, and you print 3 rows, 3 columns. Okay. Okay, you print out. Now, let's try to do another experiment. So you do for integer I equals 0, I less than n minus n, and then I increase. And then let's do C out. So this one, we treat it like a one-dimensional array. So right here, as you can see, this one, we use a two-dimensional addressing. So it's I times n plus j, that would be your offset of your starting from your n address. This one is your one-dimensional addressing. So your I actually is calculating from n plus I address. So treating the two-dimensional array like one dimension. Let's see. This one you got some address. Let's try to use the body mark. You got the data, okay, but it actually is wrong data. So that's you cannot directly convert that to there. So that's if you do have a I divided by n versus I multiplied by n. Let's see. Then you got the correct data back. Okay, so this is how you play your one-dimensional indexing for the two-dimensional array. So this one tell you it actually continuous edges. So you need to jump by 147. You need to go row first. Okay, it's go row first. When you first time using the this one. Okay, anyway, I think it's actually column major in the numbers. Okay, anyway, these are two-dimensional array, but two-dimensional array is not array of arrays in C double plus language. It's instead is a continually memory edges. For this part, I think it's okay. Next one, we will talk about array of object. Array of object is that your array element is a object or a class element. Okay, so this one you have to declare some data type. Okay, let's actually look at the okay, let's actually create a class called object. Okay, now let's have a class. Call it let's use the structure mini class. It's actually same as class, but let's use a structure point. Okay, so we build up this two-string function and a class. Okay. Okay, this one is the point class. So what we would like to do is that we do have a point class is a structure type, so we do use the pointer type. Okay, A string. We would like to create three pointer. So it has the two variable field x and y. So one tuple of these represent 1 point. So it's 3 points like that, and then we put it out. Okay. So this will show you how to create these. Okay. So this one is if you create a structure using the continuous edges to create an array. Okay. Now, if you want to create a runtime dynamic array, let's see. So you need to have a default constructor if you use a new function. Okay, that's actually could be given a default function. Okay, and then let's print out again as well. And at the end, you would like to delete the array p. Okay. So this one show you a static structure array and dynamic structure array. Okay. So class is similar. It said that class has inheritance and structure don't have inheritance, but in terms of building the class and then array of object is actually the same. Run it. Okay, get a similar result. Okay, so here we so far covered the basic array and then the array of objects as well. Okay, and it's fine. Two-dimensional array, we cover it already. Next one, we are going to talk about C double plus array class. So basically, in the beginning part, we talk about integer A array. This one is a C style array. Okay, it's a C style array. And then we talk about integer body of P equals new integer of 3. This one is dynamic allocated memory array. Both of them, you do not know about the size. You have to use a size of function or you have to use the ALAN to define it. Because both of them are just some sort of generic array. There's no function, no class. So now we are going to talk about C double plus array class. This one is a OOP, object-oriented class. It's different from these two generic array. Generic array have no function, no parameter, no data fields. Array class do have data fields, so we would like to see a third style of the array. That's called C double plus array class. So as you can see, it's an array with functions, but it's still not a dynamic array. The size still cannot be changed. But it do have the functions now. Okay, so this is C double plus array, and then it has a type and the size. You need to specify the size. You need to use it from the array class. So by itself, it's a class called array, and you have two parameters, type and the size you need to pass over. And there is a function called front. There's a function called begin. There's a function called end that will find its beginning element and the end element. Okay, it's called begin and end. So basically, you have okay. It is in the STL library. So here you do see the variable. There's an equal sign. There's an index operator. There's an f function. There's a begin function. There's a constructor function. There is a data function. There's an empty function. There's an end function. There's a field function. Okay, these are more commonly used functions. Okay, these actually have a front and back. Size, swap, empty. So these are the basic functions we would like to have. Let's look at the example, okay? So this one, let's call it array class. Okay, so you need to include an array and then you create array class, okay? So now when you want to use it, you need to know about the size. So you do actually do array. So you can also do std array, that's a constructor, okay, the type definition. But you actually can just use array and an integer and then 6 element. This one need to be in the angle bracket because it's type variable. Okay, and then you do a, okay, something like that. So this one you also need to remember how long it is. Okay, but one thing that is better is that this a right now has a function, so you can do for integer I equal 0, I less than a the size, I increase. Okay, so you actually can print out AI's location and you actually can print it. So the data initially you do not initialize it because you actually have A and then uninitialized. This one uninitialized. Okay, you have one way you can initialize it is actually you can use the original way. Now, before we do initialization, let's actually try another one. Okay, let's try different one. Let's actually have arrays, integer, 3, let's have declare B. And in this one, let's put in 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is one way that you can do initialization for the array. So when you access each element, you can use a b dot at. But this as function is similar to get function. It also is the same as the index function. Okay, so this is one way to this is initialized. Okay. Okay, you get the 1, 2, 3. So A is uninitialized, so you got the garbage. B is initialized. And you can also have it as a field. So that's an array. That's a field with 100, okay? Let me copy the whole thing over. Okay, this goes through the whole array one by one, but it actually fill the initial. So this one is initialized with all zeros. Okay. Okay. So this one, as you can see, it do have the size function. It do have different way to initialize it. It do have the type, as you can specify the type. This one is called the so-called array type in C++. It's an array C++ class. Okay. The front and back return the first elements pointer. Okay, that's actually fine. Swap, you can actually swap the content of two array. Let's do swap. So you must have the array of the same size. And then you do swap. And then you print out both of them. Okay. So right here you do have B and C that actually is the same size. So let's do B the swap C. And let's print now the B and C one more time. And then I remove the declaration part. Okay, so just swap B and C, and then we print out B and C's content. So B changed to O100, C become 123. Actually, it's just swapping of the B, C here, okay? So that's the swap function that we have. Okay, so I think this pretty much is the introduction of the array class. And we do introduce three type of array today. One is the original C style array. One is the array of the C style in dynamic memory. Third type is the so-called array class in C++. Okay, and the third one is the only one that has come with a function. And so usually if you use a C++ array, you would like to use the this array class array. Okay, but next chapter we'll talk about dynamic array. It will be more versatile than this array style. So in the competitive programming, usually people are using the vector instead of array. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you. Good night and bye-bye.